Okay, so my last video actually got views on it. I seriously wasn't expecting any attention on it. I literally was just ranting right after playing the game, just trying to get my thoughts out there, and people actually watched it. So everybody make way, a YouTuber is coming through. I'm in the big leagues now. Just as a little heads up, I'm not rigidly going to be sticking to the topic of Little Nightmares on this channel, rather just talking about indie games, horror games, maybe even movies, just stuff that I like. But seriously, thank you guys all so much for the love and support in the comments. Thank you to the YouTube algorithm for gifting me this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I'd like to say thank you to my mom back at home. But yeah, you guys can bet your bippies that more is definitely on the way. So you guys might be shocked to learn that despite my last video completely crapping all over Little Nightmares 3, I actually love these games. The first Little Nightmares and especially the second Little Nightmares are so near and dear to my heart. They're super nostalgic for me, and I'm really happy to have had these on my palette of video games growing up. They definitely helped shape my taste in games, and they also introduced me to my favorite genre of game, that being the puzzle platformer mixed with like horror adventure type games. The one where you play the game from a sort of dollhouse perspective, and the main goal is to go right. And while Tarsier Studios have said that Little Nightmares is not a horror game, it's more of just a adventure with creepy looking things, it's a horror game. All these games kind of lean towards horror with their, dark, moody atmospheres and the high levels of tension and stress and fear. And while I fancy a good round of Fortnite with my chaps, there really is nothing like going back to a game like Little Nightmares on a stormy night and being completely taken into a world that's dark and twisted and a story you have to piece together yourself. I usually play these games with a friend or a member of my family who hasn't played it yet, and it's always such a joy to see their reaction to things. Even settling in and watching a YouTuber play these games is always such a fun experience, and it really feels like you're a part of the world. I would say Little Nightmares is probably one of the most well-known and commonly pointed to examples of this genre of game, but others do exist despite their smaller communities and most of the time really barren release schedules. That's honestly the hardest pill to swallow when you're a fan of these games, is the fact that you only really get one every 3 years. Which is why it really sucks when one comes out and it's not very good. Little Nightmares 3. Somerville. This video is supposed to be positive. But yeah, so I'm gonna go through a bunch of games like this that I like and talk about them and what I like about them. And please, if you haven't played any of them, spoilers are ahead, please play them first. It's 300% worth it to skip this stupid video so that you can experience the games firsthand. Alright, so starting off, let's talk about the game that kind of spearheaded the whole genre, Limbo. Limbo kind of ran so Little Nightmares and Inside could walk. It was created by Playdead, the people who would later go on to develop Inside, in 2010, and it was released onto the Xbox 360. In the game, you wake up in the woods as a little boy, and you're looking for your sister, and that's about it. Games like Little Nightmares 3 will get crap for having a lack of a story because they were clearly trying to create some sort of narrative, but Limbo's simplicity works in its favor. Less is definitely more here. Limbo has more of a focus on visuals and puzzles, rather than spoon-feeding you a story, which is a common theme among these games. But Limbo is a really good first game of this sort if you're trying to get into them. It's definitely the most bare bones out of any of the games on this video, and the game still looks really good, but it's a little dusty. You can feel the age on it. I mean, this thing is 15 years old at this point. One of the things that games by Playdead excel at, though, is the art of minimalism. Especially in Limbo, I mean, most of the areas are defined by just simple black and white shapes. That, paired with effective and unique sound design, create an environment which you can easily relate to something in the real world without the game explicitly telling you that you're actually there. This also helps the game become memorable because these black and white images are burned into your mind. It also helps them stand the test of time because they're not focusing on being realistic, just giving you a feeling through the environment. One thing that Playdead games have over entries in the Little Nightmares franchise is their ability to not pull their punches when it comes to gore. The deaths in these games are astoundingly gruesome, especially because the protagonist is usually a child. One of the most fun things to do in these games is to just see all the unique ways you can kill yourself in disturbing ways. Can I say that on YouTube? The realism and the fluency in the animations in these two games is honestly astonishing. While the movement of characters in Little Nightmares being a little choppy and glitchy and twitchy, it kind of works in its favor because it helps it feel like, I don't know, like a stop motion thing, and it makes it feel scarier, like these monsters could just jump out at you at any moment unnaturally. But man, you can just feel the hours of passion and skill poured into the animations in this. It kind of makes me feel bad when, I don't know, I land on a wooden spike as the boy from Inside and I watch him realize that he's slowly bleeding out. I don't know, I really want to talk about Inside. Limbo is a great game, and its impact on the horror genre there's definitely something to be said about that, but someone else can say it. I want to talk about Inside. It's my favorite game ever. So after Playdead came out with Limbo and it was a critical success, they're like, hey guys, what if we released Absolute Peak next? And then that's exactly what they did. From the breathtaking art direction to the incredibly well thought out gameplay, I'll be recommending this game for the rest of my life. I'm infinitely jealous of the artists who got to work on this game. What a privilege. One unique quality of Inside is, with these other games, as I said in my previous video, I don't think there really is one specific story we're following here which is completely thought out and makes perfect sense. And I don't really think that that's a goal that these games should be shooting for. I mean, it's more about what you take from them and the experience you have while playing them and what you think it might represent. I like when games encourage you to think, and Inside definitely does that. But I'm a lot more confident that there actually is some meaning behind everything that's going on here. The worms, the little rooms in the forest, the giant sonic boom machine. Every single little detail in the environment of these games feels so intentional. I love that it leaves you with just enough clues to piece together what might have happened here, but whatever it was that happened, it's lost to time. We're stuck in the aftermath, just trying to find our way out. Or should I say, trying to find our way inside. The mechanics, from the submarine to the mind control people, it's all so unique and it's all so clever, and the puzzles that involve these mechanics really require some brain power. I mean, and this goes for Limbo too, like these are kind of difficult, but that's a good thing. The game doesn't treat you like you're stupid. It doesn't act like it's your first time ever playing a video game when it's the third installment of a franchise. The enemies in this game range from awesome to absolutely terrifying. Your booty will be clenched running away from the dogs. The sound of their barking, echoes in my nightmares. The water mermaid girls, sirens, are also horrifying. This game is amazing at close calls. It really feels like you're barely escaping them each time. The colors in the game, the sound design, specifically, I've already mentioned it, but the level with the big sonic boom thing, it's so freaking cool. That's probably my favorite level out of any game ever. The foreshadowing, the spoilers, final boss, or I guess what you play as in the end sequence, is disgusting and so unique and memorable and awesome. This game also does something that all good games in this genre should do, make you feel completely trapped and hated by the world that you occupy. There's never a moment of safety. You constantly feel hunted and vulnerable. The dread and anxiety, the plot twists and story moments, this game will keep you on the edge of your seat for the entire runtime. It's not a huge game, it's bite-sized, but if I had the option of having more of this, I wouldn't do it. I like it being contained and special. It has its little hints and secrets and things, but at the end of the day, the people behind this game had a clear artistic vision, and they acted upon it, and it was incredible. And after it was released, it stayed untouched even to this day. This game is a complete statement. It's a testament to what a game can be when it has such creative minds behind it. It's a world and a pile of ideas dreamt up by storytellers, and a gem left behind for any gamer or really anyone that wants to experience something truly special. If you've made it this far, you've already kind of been spoiled for some aspects of the game, but I really cannot recommend it enough. It's a pure, dark, dystopian experience. And while not the flashiest, it's an underrated masterpiece in my opinion. Now I want to briefly talk about, I guess, the successor to Inside. The game Somerville was created by the studio Jumpship, a studio founded by the previous co-founder of Playdead. So the people behind this new game had plenty of experience already in this field, and I was completely confident in their ability to make a game just as good, if not better, than Inside. They didn't. In an effort to keep this video positive, I'm gonna not mention the complete wasted potential of most of this game. I'm just gonna focus on the aspects that I really enjoy about it. That being mainly the visuals. These 3 games all have different styles, yet they're all clearly under the same umbrella. Limbo features a lot of nature and organic shapes and creatures, all through an entirely 2D and monochrome lens. Inside is a lot more industrial and cold. The dingy and muted colors of the world, contrasted by the boy's bright red shirt, provide iconography almost as strong as Six's yellow raincoat, surrounded by the blues and greens which drown the world of Little Nightmares. Somerville, on the other hand, leans strongly into sci-fi, showcasing different environments at all times of the day and infesting them with the bright neon lights of spaceships and aliens. It's a natural evolution to the art style of Inside, relying on simple shapes to compose all objects and backgrounds. This time featuring a bit more detail, though. While the detail in the environment can weaken the readability of puzzles and things, it makes for absolute eye candy. And ear candy, as the sound design is just as strong as ever. The look of the spaceships and alien monoliths in this art style is so cool to see. I love the use of geometry and nature, and the juxtaposition of colors again provides for really good environmental storytelling, as whatever these creatures are clearly are not supposed to be here. I don't know if I'd recommend the actual game as strongly as I would the other ones. It's definitely not the bigger and better Inside we all wanted it to be. It causes me physical pain to think about the years of rewatching the same 3 trailers over and over again because of how cool they looked. Based on the concepts introduced in this game alone, I mean, it's worth a shot if you have a spare $10 lying around somewhere, but just don't expect greatness in the same vein as Inside. And if you haven't already played Inside, put your $10 towards that instead. I don't see any reason why Jumpship wouldn't be able to grow from this though and come out with some awesome games in the future. Just please do it quickly. Supposedly another game, also by some of the previous developers of Inside, has been being worked on since that game came out, but I'm not super confident in that. The concept art for it looks really, really cool though. Okay, now let's talk about something that I'm sure a lot of you are a lot more familiar with, that being Little Nightmares 1 and Little Nightmares 2, because that's where the franchise ends. Yep, they never made another game after that. The visuals of these 2 games include a lot more realism in their textures and things, but I mean, some of these environments are just breathtaking. They look like concept art turned into 3D. The look of everything is just so instantly recognizable as Little Nightmares, with its signature, you're a tiny person in a giant, scary, weird world. As the title suggests, these games drag you back into your childhood fears. They dissect what made various arbitrary things in childhood feel terrifying, and warp and exaggerate them in brilliant ways. The pressure of a teacher constantly looming over you, breathing down your neck and watching your every move. The fear of losing yourself and stumbling into the back rooms of a workplace or restaurant, and then being tossed around by the people who inhabit it. The dread of visiting the cold, dark doctor's office. The discomfort of being around adults as they're drawn into their addictions. The fear of giant baby dolls coming through your window. Oh wait, we're not supposed to talk about that one. But not only does each section of the game invoke some childhood fear, each enemy is also a symbol and represents some kind of obsession and where we go wrong as humans. More than just creepy antagonists to run away from. They each serve as a visual portrayal of human nature in a, might I add, very cool way. The enemies in these games are hilariously disgusting and unique looking. There's an enemy that fits the description of any contortion you could possibly think of applying to the human body, which is another thing about these designs I love. Despite all their horrible disfigurements, they're still a human. Just like me. This goes for the environments too. Everything is exaggerated, stretched out, too big for our character. Yet it's still a real world that we could imagine living in. It's similar to our own. All the set pieces and objects and puzzles, it's all grounded in reality. Speaking of set pieces, the settings of these games are wildly creative. The Maw, a massive aquatic vessel, rising to the surface of the ocean once a year, beckoning guests inside to dine on fine meals cooked by the 2 best chefs on the planet. Kept clean and quiet by Roger, the friendly janitor, and the whole operation overseen by the mysterious, all-knowing, geisha-like lady, residing deep inside the maw, and listening to the secret whispers of children all throughout it. And then, a short boat trip away from the Hunter's Woods, the Pale City, a decrepit, crumbling concrete jungle, constantly drowned in rain, infested by buzzing, enticing monochromatic televisions. A place where any porcelain child can receive the best education for miles, as well as the best medical care, courtesy of the doctor. But no corner of the Pale City is out of reach of the signal tower, and the thin man who belongs to it. You climb your way out of the depths of the maw as Six, a bold, ruthless killer, all tucked away inside a tiny yellow raincoat. Armed with nothing but a lighter, she eviscerates anything in her path, no matter the size. And you journey your way to the center of the Pale City as Mono, better equipped for the world around him. and donning a paper bag over his head. You recruit 6 from the previous game, and stampede through any operation or creature which stands in your way, leaving nothing but ashes in your wake. Little do you know, however, you're being led towards a dark fate, and once you inevitably make it to the signal tower, you'll never truly leave. All thanks to a generational betrayal, one you vehemently refuse to forget, as it consumes you and turns you into exactly what you've been running from this whole time. While similar to the other games, nothing is explicitly said as far as the story goes in these games. Lacking a full understanding of how this world actually works allows for even more anxiety and tension, and it doesn't impede on your ability to become emotionally invested in these characters in this world. As you piece together what's already occurred in this environment, or even what's happening currently in it, you still follow a linear story filled with plot twists, character moments, foreshadowing, and emotion, all done without a single piece of spoken dialogue. That might be one of the biggest things that makes these games my favorite. The restrictions of having 0 words in these games forces them to create incredible environmental storytelling, to show you rather than to tell you. And as an artist myself, there's nothing I appreciate more than having the room to come up with my own interpretations. The lighting and colors in these games are fantastic. The puzzles are clever and memorable. You become attached to every quirky character in these games. The secrets are incredibly rewarding. The music is synonymous with the games. The gameplay is smooth and keeps you on edge at all times. The community surrounding these games are passionate and very welcoming. I mean, in every sense of the word, these games are just complete cult classics. Again, I can't recommend enough playing these games for yourself and or introducing them to someone else and feeling like you're completely part of the world that these games portray. Tarsier Studios absolutely cooked with these 2 titles, and while very popular, they're still underrated in my opinion. They deserve infinite praise and serve as a huge inspiration to me and many artists out there who love this genre. A few years back, the Little Nightmares franchise was sold to Supermassive Games, who are the ones who developed and recently came out with Little Nightmares 3, which, the only 40 minutes of my channel's existence prior to this video was spent bashing and ripping to shreds. That's not to say it's completely horrible. I mean, it still includes a lot of the elements of the other games, and if you're absolutely starved for games like this, it's like somewhat serviceable. But I mean, it's kind of like eating like a homemade steaming chocolate chip cookie baked by your grandma and then being handed like one of those stale crunchy Halloween cookies. Like, yeah, I guess I'll still eat this, but I mean, we had it so good before. But hey, if you want to hear more about that, you should definitely go watch my other video and like and subscribe and you know. But if you perchance find yourself wanting a game that's actually of quality, then I have good news for you. Because Tarsier Studios didn't just sell the Little Nightmares franchise and then dip. They've been working on and are hopefully about to release in the first quarter of 2026, Reanimal. And from the looks of it, it's literally just Little Nightmares without the title. It seems that all the motifs and themes of the previous games are still very much present. And personally, I can't freaking wait for this game. It looks amazing. It's like Little Nightmares, except now it has a mature rating, so it can dip its toes into some of those horrible deaths that Playdead games are famous for. The enemies seem to mostly consist of barn animals, with all the weird disfigurements and contortions you might expect to see on the enemies in Little Nightmares. That's not to say it's ditching the whole trope of you're tiny and there's giant people walking around that want you dead. That's all still here. I genuinely have no idea how this is even legal, that it's like so close to Little Nightmares, even though they kind of sold off the brand. But believe me, I am not complaining. This is like gonna be the real Little Nightmares 3 in my opinion. I've watched people play the demo for it, and it's like already more compelling and engaging than Little Nightmares 3. I am on my knees begging you to please go out and buy this game when it releases and just completely blow this thing up, because I want more like it. It looks stunning, it looks horrifying. I need it now. But yeah, I mean, other than that, there's like the mobile Little Nightmares game that came out a few years back, and it was genuinely pretty entertaining, and the puzzles in it were actually really difficult. But that kind of completes the list of these kinds of games that I've played. I love everything relating to these games. They're ingrained in my mind and they inspire me so much. I can only hope that one day I'll work on a game such as this or come up with concepts for it, because I find them incredibly interesting and they're such good tools to apply like creativity to. I love horror games, I love puzzle games, I love unique and cool designs. This genre of game is just a compilation of everything I love about gaming, and they're without a doubt the best kind of games in my opinion. If you haven't played any one of them, please go out and buy your first. It's such a good experience. And if any of you guys have any more suggestions for games like this, please let me know in the comments. I'll happily research and play more. Thank you for watching. It'd be pretty awesome if you could subscribe and maybe even like the video, and I guess I'll see you next time.